Shalom to the Lick of Israel, to the Hopeful Lick of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten Son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha. It's Yahweh Shai. So gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who were well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupant pushing this truth and believing this truth with the four winds of the earth. The entire world shedding light to the hopeful elect. I'm Isaiah from GMS Atlanta Camp, coming to another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord, will be able to find. So, this lesson, I saw this clip of this guy, which I saw from 2 years ago. His name is John Boyd Jr. He's a fourth generation farmer. And he was complaining how Babylon the Great is taking the money from these farmers and giving it to these other countries. So I saw a new video today of this guy, and he's saying he's thanking the government because they finally gave him a $2 billion budget to give back to the so-called black farmers. So I saw this and I just had to get a couple precepts to make this point, because our people trust in this government, this system. As I tell you in Revelation, right, they were one after the beast, saying who is able to make war with the beast, who is like unto the beast. So 2/3 of our people think that this system will help them, which is not going to help you. This system will destroy you. As I tell you in Micah 2:10, that this is not our rest. So I'm going to play, I got a couple clips I want to play. Lord willing, it's better fine. I'm going to get a couple precepts. Slow belly, Sambo niggas, man.
Well, the green agenda is worldwide. The United Nations wants the Western world to curb its meat appetite. Joining us now is Black Farmers Association President and Virginia farmer John Boyd Jr. John, thanks for being with us. All right, so this is how I'm reading what I'm hearing. The UN is saying to save the climate, we've got to put guys like you out of business. What's your reaction to that?
Well, you know, the UN should be more focused on stopping these wars that we have around the world. We have 2 full-blown wars, you know, with Ukraine and we have one in Israel. Why isn't the UN doing more to step in and bring peace around the world instead of trying to put America's farmers out of business?
The reason why, the Lord said in Luke 12:51, he came not to bring peace, but a sword. He came not to bring peace, but division. Let me get these 2 precepts. So you got the one in Matthew, and it tell you in Isaiah 48:22 that there will be no peace to the wicked. So real quick, this is Matthew 10:32. It reads, Matthew 10:34. Salakia. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. This is the words of the Messiah. This is Luke 12:51. It reads, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division.
And I'm talking today from my beef cattle farm in Boyerton, Virginia, where I'm a proud beef cattleman, and I've been raising beef for over 40 years. So here we have Bill Gates trying to put us out of business by promoting fake meat. And now we have the UN stepping in and saying that Americans should eat less meat, putting America's farmers out of business. Why doesn't someone ask America's farmers first what we think about these policies, these bad policies?
Because you don't, your opinion doesn't matter, Jake. And that's what we're trying to tell Jake. Your opinion doesn't matter. In Joel chapter 1, he said creating fake meat, right? Joel 1 and 16. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yeah, joy and gladness from the house of our power. Is not the meat cut off is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yeah, man. This is what's happening. Let's go back. He said the original hot boy, BG, man. Let's go back.
You have Bill Gates trying to put us out of business by promoting fake meat. And now we have the UN stepping in and saying that Americans should eat less meat, putting America's farmers out of business. Why doesn't someone ask America's farmers first what we think about these policies, these bad policies, before they go and implement them? We have the
And the one thing that the statement that he made, we didn't eat meat every day, man, in the ancient times. We didn't eat meat every day, man. There are vegetables and fruits, okay? And they was bigger. So if you ate grapes, or you ate peaches or plums or pears, you got full, man. Even today, if you eat fruit, and drink some water, you'll get full real quick, man. But we have been conditioned to always want meat. But the Lord said he's going to take away in Isaiah 3:1. Let's read this. This is Isaiah 3:1. It reads, for behold, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water. The Lord is taking it away.
FDA last week putting tobacco farmers out of business with a menthol ban. All of these things are putting America's farmers out of business when we're faced with the highest input cost in history for America's farmers. The high cost of diesel fuel, the high cost of fertilizer, the high cost of seed and lime and chemicals. All of these things we're paying up front. And, these policies are hurting us. So my message to the UN is to do something to stop these wars around there instead of putting America's cattlemen out of business like myself.
You can't stop the war. This is prophecy. But see, this is the mentality of the so-called Negro in America. This fourth generation cattlemen, herdsmen. They don't understand what's going on, man. These are the prophecies that Yahweh Shemawashah is fulfilling, man. This has nothing to do with us. As a matter of fact, Isaiah 55. This is Isaiah 55 in verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. See? For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And what is this? The Lord said he's going to cut off the meat from before our eyes, man.
John, what's your message to Joe Biden? And by the way, I grew up right near you in Brookneal, which is just over the county line.
That's right. Well, my message to the president is, disappointed that we haven't had this meeting, and I've asked for that meeting on your show in the past to discuss these policies that are hurting us. And that's a lot of the reason why you see these policies rolled out, because farmers aren't at the table to weigh in and advise this administration that policies like this hurt America's farmers.
Now you see this? So in the ancient time, during the time of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this wasn't a problem. Fertilizer, corn, soybean, animal feed. Soybean, which we didn't use anyway. Soybean is not something that you should be eating. Anyway, so Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had no problem with this. Why? Because wicked rulers was not ruling the earth in wickedness. Those that was ruling the earth at the time was not destroying the crops and the cattle, man. See, this is what the scriptures say, that the people is mourning because of the wicked rulers, man. This didn't happen in the ancient time. This was not a problem. But now, because of the so-called white man, these things are a problem.
Why you see these policies rolled out, because farmers aren't at the table to weigh in and advise this administration that policies like this hurt America's farmers. We need to find a way to put more small-scale farmers back into business out here in Boydton, Virginia, and Brookneal, Virginia. We got to find a way to put farmers back on the land rather than continue to lose the fight to these greedy people out here who are hurting us, such as Bill Gates. We have China buying a farmland right here in this county. They're opening up a new plant in South Hill, where they're buying land here left and right. And these issues are going unaddressed by the administration. So my message is clear. We would like to sit down and talk about these things. And if not, we have to start looking to other candidates to see what they can do to help America's farmers, because farmers are hurting.
Well, Mr.
Hey, Babylon the Great is hurting, man. Now check this out. That's why I said in Jeremiah 51. Hey, man, the Lord is cold, because Jake really trusts in his government and his system, man. And your system, your government is failing you. Jeremiah 51. In verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, which is spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this time is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, and is lifted up to the skies. So these nations is separated from Babylon the Great. But you got slow-bellied niggas like this thinking America is going to save them, is going to help them. Right? The last great white hope. There is nothing that can be healed here, man. Listen to this. Now, this is, again, John Boyd. And I did a lesson on this about a month or two ago. How they using AI to pick the crops, to plant the crops and pick them. Check this out.
Well, artificial intelligence is coming to the American farm. AI helping to pick apples. They can harvest around the clock. It never gets tired or injured, recognizing with precision a ripe, perfect fruit. But does tech like this ultimately help or hurt American farmers? And how will it impact the labor workforce in our agriculture industry? Now, for insight, we want to welcome back to the show John Boyd Jr., president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, it's always such a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Natasha, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. So we see this video. You see this video of this fruit-picking drone. What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, you know, I just finished a national tour. I went to 49 townships around the country, and many of our farmers are raising the issue of labor and who's going to do the work on the farms. So I think looking at this is one aspect, a good tool to have. But will these tools be readily affordable and available to small farmers, farmers of color? We have the same problems too, so we urge these companies to take a look at making sure that these things are affordable to America's America's farmers. So we welcome the technology. We think it's good, and but we have to make sure that these tools are readily available for farmers like myself.
I appreciate that. I mean, we're looking at another video here. This is a weeder that instead of, back-breaking work by hand, tending a field like we've done for thousands of years, it literally recognizes weeds and zaps it from above, killing them effectively. When you look at that, I know a lot of people look at that and go, yikes, an autonomous robot that can go around recognizing things to kill with a laser. Do you think that this is a good piece of technology that you want accessible to family farmers?
Well, I actually like this too because I have issues on my own farm, big weed, and farmers want to get away from harmful chemicals that are bad for food consumption. And I think that this is a perfect opportunity to look at that. With this particular piece of machinery can identify the weed and zap it versus farmers using harmful chemicals such as glyphosate and others that have been proven to cause cancer. So I really, really, really like this tool, and I hope that those type of tools, again, are available to America's farmers, especially small farmers. We need that type of technology if we're going to compete and stay on the farm.
I appreciate that so much. And as we look back on 2023, this past summer saw record-setting heat. How did that affect crops in the short and the long term in this country?
And again, I just finished my harvest. So we have about 1,600 acres here in Mecklenburg County, Virginia. And I just finished harvesting soybeans, and the soybeans that we planted early, we had much better yields. But for the soybeans that caught in the drought, we saw a severe reduction in yields and bushels per acre. So the drought is hurting, and when we have long, dry summers like that, when we don't have enough waterfall to suffice the crop, that can make a huge difference for farmers. And when you don't make the yields in bushels, you can't make your payments in the fall. So that's how this thing works. Farmers rely on making sure that they have a bountiful harvest so that we can go on to the next year. So right now, farmers like myself, we're thinking about what are we going to do next year to make sure that we're able to make up the difference. So the climate is something that has to be dealt with and looked at, and farmers need to come together to address it. And oftentimes you hear on all over the country about climate change and what companies are doing to address it, but they're not putting the farmers in the loop and the actual results. So we need to be at the table when major companies are talking about climate change and what they're doing. They need to be working with farmers because we're the ones that have to implement these changes.
Absolutely.
You farmers ain't important, man. Especially you so-called Negro farmers. This is Habakkuk 3 in verse 17. Although the fig trees shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. The flocks shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. This is what the Lord is doing, man. When you read Haggai 1, it talks about them that's trying to build their house. And then they say, let's read it. They're considering the Lord's house being built, man. Jake is one about doing their own thing. Haggai 1 and 2. Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, that the time of the Lord's house shall be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your seer houses, and this house lieth waste? Now therefore thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build a house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. Ye look for much, and lo, it came too little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? saith Yahweh of hosts, because of my house that is waste, and ye run every man into his own house. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. You ain't gonna get what you looking for. And I call for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Talking to you husbandmen, man. Because you trust in the government. Let's get this in Isaiah. This is Isaiah 30:12. You slow-bellied niggas trust in oppression. Isaiah 30:12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise his word, and trust in oppression, and perverseness, and stay thereon. You trust in oppression. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instance. You trusting in the government. Let's get this. Let's start at verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. See? It said in verse 5, they were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help, nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. See? This is what's happening, man. Because you trying to build and add to the so-called white man system. And you ain't trying to build and add to the house of Yahweh Shema Shai. You're going to lose. You're going to lose every time.
It affects you all first, I think, before the rest of us even see the changes. You know, John, I know I respect your opinion so much. I know you're a multi-generation farmer. I had the privilege of spending some time with farmers earlier this year, and what you said about, next year has to be better. There is something about the endless optimism of farmers, the optimism it takes to be a farmer year after year that I think, touches my heart. John, I want to get your opinion on one more topic. For more than a year, we know a group tied to billionaire Bill Gates has been buying farmland across Middle America. Now, he says it's in an effort to make those farms more productive and to create jobs. Your thoughts on this land?
And he said it in this video here. What they are doing is using AI, man. Because they said they don't need the human resources anymore. AI is taking over. Let's go back. Oh, no, it was in this video. So, like it. Robots. It said robots in the future of farming. Increasing accessibility for family farmers. Robots in the future of farming. AI.
And happening by Gates right now.
Well, right here in my hometown, Boydton, Virginia.
The original Hot Boy, BG. Taking over. They taking over one farm at a time.
He has a huge data center right next door, which has caused land prices to go through the roof. Before he came into this area, you could buy farm land for about $3,000 an acre. Now it's upwards between $15,000 and $20,000 an acre, and he hasn't worked with community groups to reinvest in this area. He's also talking about asking people to reduce beef consumption, but he hasn't worked with farmers to see what they're going to do while he's trying to force these type of programs on us. He wants to come up with beef that are raised with cells outside of
And they are taking sales from real animals. I did a lesson on this some months ago. They're taking sales from real animals, from beef, chicken, fish, turkey, and putting them in a bioreactor and creating lab-grown meat. Yeah. 3D printed steaks, T-bones, sirloins. 3D printed turkey breasts. And it's legally. They have legally passed these bills, man. But the Lord said he's going to take away the food. Matter of fact, let's read this. Hosea. This is Hosea 6:5, it reads. So like Hosea 4:1. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel. For Yahweh have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. Why? Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out in blood, toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken. The Lord is removing this, man. He's removing the comfort from 2/3 of our people, man. See, the heathens is just collateral damage and casualties of war. The Lord is taking away the comfort from 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. This is what's happening, man.
That's what cowards are. I'm saying no to fake meat, and yes to full-generation beef farmers like myself. Shame on Bill Gates. This man makes $10 million a day, and we have farmers facing foreclosure, and he's asking Americans to stop eating beef, things of this nature. So instead of investing in America's farmers, to me, he's pushing policies on us that's bad for America's farmers. What about bringing us to the table and having us in the dialogue to see how he can work together? Because we have farmers facing foreclosure. This man makes $10 million a day. How about trying to save some of America's farms instead of telling us what we should be doing? So that's my message for Bill Gates. Just because you have all the money doesn't mean you have all of the answers.
This is Jeremiah 17:5. It reads, Thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. No, it's your fault, Jake. You shouldn't be trusting in these in the government, which word government mean mind control, control minds. Now look at this. Look at this nigga, man. Hold on here. Salakia. Salakia for the infomercial. Come on. So now I want you to listen to this nigga.
Of agriculture in the U.S., but today they make up less than 2% of the nation's farmers. ABC News correspondent Kenneth Moten talks to one man who's planting seeds of change to keep farmers of color afloat.
I'm a fourth-generation farmer. It's in my blood. My grandfather, Thomas Boyd, was born in 1894. They owned their own farm. And my mother's parents were sharecroppers.
Come on now.
Me and my dad farmed together probably for about 30 years until he retired from farming.
Growing up in South Carolina, my great-great-great-grandfather, Henry Moten, was a sharecropper. Black farmers, many will point out, they help build, feed this country.
Absolutely. I'm sitting here talking to you on a farm that my forefathers worked here as slaves. I know that there were slaves and sharecroppers that built these barns here. You can see that the logs were hand carved Just looking at that reminds me of history, you know, where I came from and where we have to go in this country.
John Boyd Jr. grew up near this 1,000-acre Southern Virginia farm where he grows soybean and wheat. And when he's not tending to cattle, he's wrangling politicians, even driving tractors and mules to Washington, D.C. to lobby for black farmers and their land as founder of the National Black Farmers Association.
The most powerful tool you can possess, only secondary to Jesus Christ, is land ownership.
Stomp on the ground. Stomp on the ground.
At the turn of the 20th century, nearly 1 million black families put their blood, sweat, and tears into the U.S. soil. Today, that number has plummeted to roughly 50,000 black farmers. No simple answer behind the decline. Economics, migration, discrimination, and racism all playing a role in the backlash to black land ownership. It began more than 400 years ago, when enslaved Africans were exploited for more than just their labor.
They were kidnapped from their homes and brought over for their agricultural expertise. For example, they would kidnap Mende and Wolof people who were expert rice farmers and bring them to the Carolinas. Our ancestral grandmothers had the courageous audacity to braid seeds into their hair, so the okra, cowpea, goosey melon, sorghum, millet, eggplant came with them in the bowels of slave ships.
Eventually, freedom would come, along with the promise of land.
If 40 acres and a mule had been a promise kept, that would be worth almost $7 trillion today.
Instead, that promise was broken, and many former slaves became sharecroppers, renting land, often from their former owners.
And well, that's what the scriptures say, right? The Lord did this to us, man. What's that? Psalms. So like it. This is Psalms 55 in 20. He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. See? So what do you expect from a so-called white man other than wickedness? You're a fool if you trust in this bastard.
It didn't just stop when we were free. Where were we free to go? We didn't have any money. We didn't have any resources. So many blacks stayed on these farms like my forefathers did. That's how blacks got land in the first place.
Boyd says the challenge has been hanging on to that land, and he believes the federal government has failed to adequately support farmers of color. You've had a tumultuous relationship with the United States Department of Agriculture.
Yes, the last plantation.
Ooh, that's powerful.
The very agency that's supposed to be lending me a hand up was the very agency putting black farmers out of business.
And Boyd telling me about his own years-long experience in
can't
Virginia,
trust the government,
dealing with
man.
local USDA officials, one in particular, being in that loan office with that USDA official.
It's Wednesday, the only day he saw black farmers.
Wait, they had a date for you?
Yeah, we named it Black Wednesday. In the 80s, they still had the word Negro on the USDA application.
In the 80s?
Yes. Since 1995, $500 billion worth of tea have been paid out to large-scale farmers in this country in the form of just subsidies, and little to none has went to black farmers.
In 19...
Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. See? Never trust thy enemy. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. You can't trust in these people, man.
1999.
And this video is called Juneteenth, Together We Triumph, Part 2.
The USDA settled a class action lawsuit, eventually paying more than $1 billion to black farmers in response to claims of discrimination. Today, the department says it's committed to building a different, more inclusive USDA.
It's about fairness. It's about dignity.
Being treated equal.
Yes.
The Lord ain't sent us here to be treated equal, man. We are above these people. The Israelites are above these heathen nations. The Lord sent us here for punishment, man. For punishment. And to be corrected. It'll tell you in Ecclesiastes 17 and 18, the Lord nourished us with discipline, man. This has nothing to do with it being equal. Jake is bugged out of their mind, but they don't know the Lord. They don't understand the reason why they are here. Deuteronomy 14 and verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. And Yahweh have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. We were sent here for a correction, for to be punished and corrected. This has nothing to do with being equal with a so-called white man or no other heathen nation.
And the past year was especially tough for an already ailing farming industry, as the pandemic shut down markets and restaurants, forcing some farmers to destroy their surplus crop. In March, President Biden signed the nearly $2 trillion American Rescue Plan Act, just $5 billion for farmers of color.
I'm very proud of Farmers of Color Debt Relief Act.
Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock co-sponsored the legislation to help black farmers.
The COVID-19 pandemic both illuminated and exacerbated long-standing health disparities and economic disparities. This is the man, Lester Bowman.
Hey, sir.
Black farmers and other farmers of color have been discriminated against for generations.
How many acres we got here?
It's 136 acres left. My great-grandfather bought it.
Look at this. Look at this nigga. Look at this nigga with his phallus on his neck. He got that tie. He cute. He got it perfectly folded.
Health disparities.
He got it perfectly folded. That's at Jeremiah 2 and 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. See, we got this from Big Mom and them, man. From Papa and them, man. The nigga done trim their way to seek love from so-called white man. And this nigga don't love you. As the Lord said, I read in Isaiah 30, they have taken a covering, but not of the Lord. And you're going to die a grievous death because of it.
And economic disparities. This is the man, Lester Bowman.
Hey, sir.
Black farmers and other farmers of color have been discriminated against for generations.
How many acres we got here?
It's 136 acres left. My great-grandfather bought it in 1893.
Lester Bonner told me he needs $20,000 to save his family farm, a crisis the COVID relief bill would help solve.
I thought we'd have got it by now so I could, get a crop in the ground this year.
So now you are facing foreclosure.
It's been a hell of a challenge on that. They tried to wipe us out, but the black farmers still contributed. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Bonner may never get the help he needs. In June, a federal judge froze the relief money for black farmers, saying it unconstitutionally uses race as a factor in giving loans.
See, this is not your rest, Jake. You would never be equal with a so-called white man. They doing this. Yahweh Shema Shah got them doing this purposely. Micah 2 and 10. Because this is not for you to prosper. It tell you in Deuteronomy 28. Matter of fact, let me read this before I get this. Deuteronomy 28. Jake don't get it, man. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. In the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy stores. Come on, man. Micah 2:10. But they don't know. They don't know what's going on. Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction.
At places like Soulfire Farm, their mission is to keep black farmers on the land.
One of the reasons we're so passionate about training the rising generation of farmers is that the average age of a black farmer is over 60 years old. These plants just come back year after year all by themselves. Most of them are native or very well adapted to the region. We have between 1,000 and 2,000 folks who come through for these courses every single year at the farm to learn everything from taking care of the soil to planting a seed. It's called bee bump, and it's used to treat colds and flus and help with the respiratory system.
It's so inspiring when people come to the farm, the access to open space, to a sense of purpose.
Because black folks' relationship to land isn't just enslavement. You know, many of the practices in organic farming, raised beds, compost, cover cropping, come out of an Afro-Indigenous tradition.
No, ain't nothing about no damn Afro. It come from Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, man. They tell you in Jeremiah 51 that Jacob is the form of all things. Now they closed the bill and wouldn't get him the money. So check this out, because this is what sparked me to do this lesson. I went back to find the old clips of this guy. So check this out. Play some of this. Because they done passed the bill to get him $2 billion to black farmers. Nigga, that ain't enough to do nothing. But let's listen.
Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We end today's show with the historic $2 billion payout by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to black farmers and other farmers of color who experience discrimination when applying to the USDA's farm loan programs. The payouts finally came 2 years after Congress funded them through the Inflation Reduction Act in 2022. USDA Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement last week.
Now, this financial assistance is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but it is an acknowledgement by the department. Our hope is, and the president's hope is, that this financial assistance...
See? They don't give a damn about you, Jake. You heard what he just said? Let's run it back.
Pain endured, but it is...
Hold on.
Inflation Reduction Act in 2022. USDA Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement last week.
Now, this financial assistance is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured.
See? It's not for your loss or pain endured. What? Why not? I thought y'all care about us.
It is an acknowledgement by the department. Our hope is, the president's hope is, that this financial assistance will help many farmers stay on the farm, contribute to our nation's food supply, and continue to do what they love.
See? He lying when he read this. Look at him. They playing you, Jake. And they made you wait till they felt like, okay. And they giving you the money. You done took so much losses. This money ain't gonna help you. When is Jake gonna learn? Isaiah asked the Lord in Isaiah 6, Lord, how long? Until they asses be destroyed, man. That's how long.
This comes after the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights confirmed...
You hear what this nigga said? That nigga said this is not for your loss. Hold on.
Inflation Reduction Act in 2022. USDA Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement last week.
Now, this financial assistance is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but it is...
That's a proud statement, man. That's a prideful statement, man. It should be, but it's not.
An acknowledgement by the department.
Wow.
Our hope is, and the president's hope is, that this financial assistance will help many farmers stay on the farm, contribute to our nation's food supply, and continue to do what they love.
This comes after the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights confirmed, as long ago as 1965, that the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, discriminated against black farmers. But little was done to address the problem, and the number of black-run farms dropped 96% in the last century. By 1999, 98% of all agricultural land was owned by white people. For more, we go to Boydton, Virginia. We're joined by John Boyd, a fourth-generation black farmer and founder and president of the nonprofit National Black Farmers Association, which fought for these payouts that have now gone out. John, welcome back to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us. Explain the significance of what's happening right now.
Amy, thank you so much for having me, and it's always good to spend time with you. This is a very, very historic payout for black farmers, and I see it as a huge win for myself and the National Black Farmers Association. I've worked on this for nearly 4 decades. So basically, 60,000 applications were turned in. 45,000 black farmers and other farmers of color have begun receiving checks this week and the latter part of last week. So it's very, very good news, and a total of $2 billion. So we've been waiting for this payout for a long time, and the MBFA went out and held 60 meetings, Amy, in FaceTime with our members. We sent out 130,000 postcards in the mail to all of our members, telling them how to apply for this. It took us, Amy, on average 3 to 3.5 hours to help each and every black farmer fill out this 40-page application. So it was a very eccentric process.
40-page application to get some of this money that they should have just wrote checks to everybody with addresses that's black farmers. See how Esau play games with Jake, man? But this is not your rest. They supposed to give you a 40-page application to fill out because he's the devil. Man, that's wicked, man. They know each and every one of these farmers that's been losing. And however much money they getting, a lot of that got to go back into the equipment. And you getting seeds from the so-called white man. You getting GMO seeds. These ain't organic seeds. So you still losing. It's all a game, man. But this is the mind of Yahweh Shema Shai, and this is to warn the hopeful elect to fall away from this place, man. It's getting worse. They gave them a 40-page application to fill out. When they know each and every one of these black farmers and their addresses, why not just send them the damn check, man? This is how Esau play games, man. And this is why this nigga got to get put to death, man. Wicked ass nigga, man.
And so we were glad to get the news that from Stephen Benjamin at the White House actually called me and told me that the checks were actually going out to farmers around the country. So we see this as a huge significance of farmers who are facing foreclosure. We have a lot of black farmers in our organization that were facing foreclosure. So these payments are timely. It's going to help them stay on the farm, or help them improve their equipment, help them pay taxes. And I'm not saying it's a whole holistic fix, but it's certainly a huge thumb up for us.
It will never be an illicit fix. They ain't gonna heal you, man. But this will keep your ass on board. So when that micro C help be made mandatory, you will take it to keep getting these payouts, these handouts, these privileged handouts from the government. Slow-bellied niggas, man.
Amy, we're still pushing for the $5 billion in debt relief. So I'm asking administration to do that by executive order. That's what I've been having conversations with the White House to still get the $5 billion. That's the land that's owned by many black farmers that have their deeds of trust tied up with the United States Department of Agriculture. And again, that's a decade-old request as well.
See? You ain't gonna get it, Jake. Amos 5:16. Therefore, Yahweh, the power of hosts, the Lord saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in all the highways, alas, alas, and they shall call the husbandman to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. None of your cries, I'm gonna just say it in layman's terms, none of your cries for help to the so-called white man will be accomplished. They made you wait on that money. And you went in debt, bills. Man, this is wow. Lamentations chapter 4. I'm gonna close with this. This is Lamentations 4:17. It reads, as for us, our eyes as yet fail for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. Matter of fact, let me close with this one. This is Psalms chapter 60 and verse 11. It reads, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Lord was edifying. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rekah, Quadash. Double honor to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone, who were well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, regularly accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning. You few sisters who are listening and learning. Throughout tuning in, may Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Until next time, I say Shalom. Wa Ubab Babal. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalak Rayam Wa Nashyam Wa Badmiyam Wa Haragyam Wa Mashapatyam All Call Adawamium Wa Kawarium Wa Ayab Yamna Wa Babashah 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 Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The Wada Aman. Let's play this Edomite again. Listen to this nigga.
Action Act in 2022. USDA Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement last week.
Now, this financial assistance is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but
this compensation is what? What? It's not what?
Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement last week.
Now, this financial assistance is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured.
They don't care about your pain endured. They don't care about your loss. Shalom.